If the cure for cancer is in the mind of a junior high girl, the odds are that we'll never find it. Because research shows that by the time that girl is in second grade, both boys and girls are well acquainted with the notion that math is for boys.
Oftentimes when you're asked to think of these people, physicists, mathematicians, the picture in your mind is of a male.
There aren't enough women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, fields otherwise known as STEM.
In engineering and computer science, the situation is particularly dire.
Only 13% of engineers and only 27% of computer scientists are women. While there are currently more women in computer science, this number has been sharply decreasing at an alarming rate. In engineering, the number of women has been increasing, but only at a painstakingly slow pace.
Especially when you look around in your classes, and I usually am the only female in the room.
In the whole major for just my year, junior, we have 18 girls out of 119.
The underrepresentation of women in STEM will not fix itself, and the federal government must step in by creating and funding programs to support women in STEM.
STEM occupations are some of the fastest growing occupations in the nation. The Economics and Statistics Administration predicts that STEM occupations will grow by 17% from 2008 to 2018, while non-STEM occupations will only see 9.8% growth.
We find lower unemployment rates and higher salaries than the rest of the economy.
Unfortunately, the U.S. Census Bureau found that in 2011, while women made up almost half of America's workforce, they occupied only a quarter of STEM jobs.
We also have a similar problem with nursing. We don't have enough men going into nursing, and we have this big shortage of nursing professionals.
In addition, the number of women of color is extremely small. Women of color make up less than 10% of engineers and scientists.
The young girls of color may be in areas in schools that are even more underprivileged and are not being exposed to these programs early on.
This lack of diversity in race and in gender is a problem that our nation must address.
The diversity in thought would be underrepresented when you only have one group of people who are the majority of a field.
To fix this problem, the federal government needs to take action now to address this disparity because the gender gap exists for reasons we control. Girls and boys can be equally gifted at math and science. At the Math and Science Magnet program here at Montgomery Blair High School, the acceptance rate for females is usually close to 50%. The gap between boys and girls becomes apparent when students get to choose whether to pursue these fields.
The students who actually choose to attend Blair tends to be a little bit less in terms of female students.
Some may argue that this difference is simply a result of different interests.
My guess is that the girls with the talent for Math 55 are just too interested in other pursuits.
This difference in interest is not innate. Subtle cultural stereotypes and prejudices that girls learn when they are young can have a huge impact in cultivating their interests.
Certainly there's a lot of research pointing to stereotypes.
When I tell somebody that I'm a scientist and an engineer, they're always like, oh, isn't that like something men do?
Girls and women that pursue STEM fields, regardless of this negative bias, often do so because of a role model or unbiased parent.
I guess something that really encouraged me was my dad. He's also an engineer, and he wants me to do what I want to do.
And I think it was very important that I saw my mom and my dad do it, because for me there was no gender associated with it.
This support is critical, and young girls need programs to encourage and expose them to STEM subjects. The Women in Engineering program at the University of Maryland offers programs to provide this support and exposure.
We do a lot of programs that reach down to elementary, middle, and high school students to really, to deal with the things that are of most concern to women at that age.
Women in Engineering also continues this support at the university level, as the gender gap starts to widen even more.
We have a living and learning community, as I mentioned. It's called Flexus, and it's all women engineering students that study together and live together. It has really improved our retention rates. We also have mentoring programs, which is important, especially for women, to have a shoulder to lean on, to have someone to talk to.
The government must also address the discrimination women face in STEM workplaces. In recent years, society has become more accepting of women in the workplace, but implicit and unconscious biases can still negatively impact women. In a series of 3 2004 American Psychological Association studies, researchers from New York University and Columbia University found that in male-dominated fields, women who were perceived as very successful were more disliked than their equally successful male counterparts. Promoting diversity in these fields will eliminate the harmful effects of these unconscious biases. Women in STEM jobs also face a choice between being a mother and keeping a full-fledged career.
It's a different problem of women who are making personal decisions to not pursue their careers so they can have a balance in work and family.
Men rarely face this difficult decision and, as a result, workplace gender gaps increase. In spite of the benefits of diversity and the problems that come from a lack thereof, some women don't see their underrepresentation as a problem that the government needs to address.
In the workplace, I'm by far outnumbered by men, but it's, I don't really see it as a problem, I guess.
While it is a great sign that some women do not feel any discrimination, we still need more government action to broaden this sentiment and make sure that no woman feels discrimination in the STEM workplace. At the educational level, the federal government must provide programs to encourage girls and young women to pursue STEM fields, and at the professional level, the government must continue this support by making it easier for women to maintain their careers while having a family. While this may be costly, the lack of diversity and growing unrest among women who want more opportunity will be much more harmful than the expense of fixing this problem.